Once upon a time, supporters of two different banks decided to build two different luxury hotels. The Summit Hotel on the north end of Forest City and the Hotel Waldorf on the south. This turn-of-the-century war between the hotels is legendary. The Waldorf, with its team of white gilded horses, fiercely competed with the Summit and its team of black horses. That is, until the Summit's backers bought out Waldorf's financial supporters and closed it. After only 4 months, the beautifully decorated and lavishly furnished rooms of the Hotel Waldorf fell silent. But only for a few years. A Norwegian Lutheran pastor named C.S. Salvesen walked past the Waldorf every day on his way to serve the congregation that would become Emmanuel Lutheran Church. What he saw as he passed the splendid modern structure was, in his words, a fine place for a school. So, when the Waldorf's owners responded positively to his offer of purchasing the property for $18,000, well below its $70,000 construction cost, this man of God moved forward in faith. To assure the transaction, Reverend Salvesen secured a $10,000 long-term loan, raised $6,000 from community supporters, and mortgaged his farm in North Dakota. And he didn't stop there. Reverend Salvesen knew others shared his passion for education based on Christian principles. So he called together Lutheran clergy and representatives from congregations surrounding Forest City, and on July 16, 1903, Reverend Salvesen's vision became a legacy. For on that day, an association was formed to govern a college, Waldorf Lutheran College, and Reverend Salvesen transferred ownership of the building to the association. Even as financial adversity had ended Waldorf's life as a hotel, a financial risk undertaken by a man of faith launched the structure's most lasting legacy. The birth of Waldorf College.
The people in Forest City area who started Waldorf could have said, that vacant hotel is a nice building. Let's get a bunch of people together to invest a little money and reestablish it as a nice hotel. That would have been a worthy goal. C.S. Salvesen was just a dreamer who got the idea, why not use this as a school? In a way, it was kind of a happy accident.
The happy accident of the hotel's rebirth as a college is rooted in its relationship to the Waldorf Association, a group of believers committed to educating young men and women in the spirit of Jesus Christ. Not bound by geographical barriers, members of the association come from across the nation each fall to gather among the campus community it founded in faith. In its earliest years, Waldorf evolved from an academy to an academy with a junior college. And then, for 6 decades beginning in 1936, the school focused its energies on the junior college program. Through it all, Waldorf's leadership guided the institution down the path laid before it.
One thing we have to remember is that when you talk about a college of the church operating on the basis of faith, you have to understand that it doesn't mean that you disregard the culture around you. You listen to the world around you saying what it's saying. And that voice is important.
As Waldorf Waldorf's student population grew, so did the need for adequate housing and classroom facilities. By 1910, at the urging of President Lars W. Boe, the Waldorf Association voted to build another hall following the design plan of Thorwald Thorson. Thorson, an avid student of life, taught math and biology at Waldorf. He believed the best way to learn about a subject was to read books. In that spirit, Thorson drafted the architectural plan for the college's second building, guided by his interest in architecture, 1 year's experience as a draftsman, a correspondence course on architecture, and a deep love for Waldorf College. For 50 years, 2 buildings, Salveson Hall and Thorson Hall, housed the heart of Waldorf College. During that time, 5 more men followed the examples of Presidents Salveson and Boe. Each answered a call to lead Waldorf through often tenuous and trying times. Martin Hegland rallied faculty and staff to guard against tendencies to eliminate the faith of the fathers as he advocated courses in agriculture and business. Carl B. Helgen advanced Waldorf's junior college program, encouraging liberal arts programming at the pre-professional level. As the Great Depression came to Iowa, Clemens Granskow positioned the college for fiscal survival amid financial sacrifices, and then guided the college into a more modern organizational structure. Under the leadership of J. L. Rendall, faculty and staff bonded as they worked together and struggled together through the economically depressed decade of the 30s and through the early years of World War II.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
When Waldorf's Board of Trustees was forced to cut salaries, members of the campus community shared food and ideas on how to live frugally. The atmosphere impressed upon students life lessons about sacrifice and service. Morton O. Nielsen arrived at Waldorf as the war drew to a close. Low enrollment of previous years, caused by men being drafted to war, ended, and the campus again brimmed with students. Waldorf secured homes to use for dormitories and classrooms. Then, during the presidency of Sidney A. Rand, Waldorf boldly entered the second half of its first century by securing a long-term loan to build Tilly Rasmussen Hall.
If you were going to increase the student body at all, we had to have more places for students to live, so we almost had to face the fact that we have to provide that space ourselves. And the determination of the board was that the college should continue to grow. So the addition of Tilly Rasmussen Hall was a gamble in the sense that it involved a loan, but it was a necessity from the standpoint of the program the college wanted to operate.
Waldorf's first long-term loan made a significant statement. The college was committed to educating students for decades to come. Through the years, thousands of loyal alumni have sustained that commitment by responding generously to supply Waldorf's needs. Millions of dollars have supported the college's ever-growing programs and facilities, with each gift as unique and blessed as the one who gave it.
Not long after I came to Waldorf, a man from town, Mr. O.N. Jellefald, a leading businessman, and a friend of the college, whom I had not met, called to see if I was in the office. He was an engineer and a rough-hewn guy, but a strong believer in Jesus Christ as his Savior. He took this check out and slapped it on my desk, and he said, "Rand, you can have this money for the college on one condition. It was a check for $5,000, which was a big check in those days for me. And I said, well, what's the condition? He said that you and I agree that this doesn't have a damn thing to do with my salvation. I said, Owen, on that basis, we'll take all the checks you can bring in.
I was out soliciting funds, unusual, and this particular fellow was a son, that is, his father had established a considerable business, and told him, hey, because he'd been horsing around and you know, not tending to business in school, and they didn't know what to do with a young man. He says, there's a college down in Iowa. We're going to send you to Waldorf College. Now, when I went to, you know, ask for funds, he had taken over pretty much from his father. He said to me, he said he would never have been what he is today and where he is today had it not been for Waldorf College.
I had known John K. Hansen for many years, and of course he was an exciting and energetic supporter and leader here for our college in many ways. And sometimes I would call him on the phone, sometimes he would call me, and whenever I met with him, he always had several new ideas for ways that we would enhance the college or increase the support for the college. And when I would get back to my office, I would dictate a response and say, John, these are the things that we talked about and covered, and I just want to check it with you. Let me know if this isn't your understanding. And that's the way it would go. Well, one day I had someone come bursting into the office and said, have you been out on that acreage that you said we were getting from John K., that 28 acres? There are some big machines out there, and I was told that they are building that Big Bertha, the main manufacturing building for Winnebago Industries. And so immediately I got on the phone, got Bob Evanson, the development director, and we called John K. And I said, John, they tell me that they're out there with big machines and they're going to build Big Bertha out there. He said, I thought you were going to, you had committed that to us at the college. And there was a slight pause, and then John said, you're right. That's exactly what I told you. And a few minutes later, the machine stopped. In fact, later, John sent them out to do site work for the development of our athletic facility.